Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hotkey Time. In this video, we're going to talk about how to take you from Heart of the Swarm hotkeys into Legacy of the Void hotkeys. A lot of you have weird hotkeys, like me. I have really weird hotkeys, so definitely don't go ahead and say, I'm going to copy every of Jack's hotkeys 100% and it'll be perfect for me. I do actually not have a QWERTY keyboard, but I have a Carpalex fully optimized keyboard, so my home row is like AEOH or something crazy like that. So if you see weird keys, don't freak out. It's just because I'm a weirdo, which you already know, and we're just gonna get right into it. So we have our Heart of the Swarm hotkeys. I've been playing beta, so they're not all Heart of the Swarm, but it's important to realize that weird stuff is gonna happen. So we just go through and check. Even though there are no unbounds here, it's important to check. We're gonna go through, here we go. Sonic transfer is what I want it to be. L is my fast key, good, looking good. L is my fast key. That's my fastest key for abilities, aside from attack, which is G. So if anything's here, it'll probably be L. Here we go. We have L and N. Now N is a rapid fire key for me, L is a non-rapid fire key for me. I have I have two fast keys that are non-rapid fire, and then I have the rest as rapid fire. So that way, if I need something to not be rapid fire, like force field, I can have it as not rapid fire. Very good. All right, so we got LL, great. This is an SL2, that's my setup, good. New thing is we actually want photon overcharge on rapid fire. So we're gonna change that around. Very good. Cool. And right now, we're checking out one of the 7 different sets of hotkeys that you have in StarCraft. Each one gets loaded whenever you play a certain type of game. So if you played a co-op game last, and you didn't restart your game, right? If you restart, it changes things sometimes. You will have the co-op hotkeys here. So if you don't see the same hotkeys that I see, and you see all kinds of weird campaign stuff over here, then maybe you played campaign last, or maybe you played co-op last. It's important to start at the place that's most important for you. So multiplayer hotkeys are most important for me. So I'm starting there. Okay, oh, here we go. This is an example of something that's, it doesn't show up as unbound. It's just the automatic key, but it's not the key that I want. So that's why it's important when you switch over. Make sure you go through everything and you are having all the keys that you want to have. Cool. Storm. L, good. Good. Excellent. Cool. So we're all set in the Protoss front. No new buildings, just stem. Cool. KDA charge is one of these things that we like to have a non-rapid fire fast key for. For me, that's L. And then you want to have a rapid fire key on backup, which for me, the faster one is N. Cool. Steady targeting, the fastest key for that is 2. Liberator. So I like to match up all my transformers. So one is immobility, which is, N. There we go. Immobility, defender mode. And then going back into mobile, which is S. I keep those the same. There's actually some parallels in Zerg and Protoss as well. And by doing that, it makes things a little bit easier to remember. And all this is the same. Good. Nothing new over here. Very nice. Okay. I actually had made room earlier on. I'd made room for the Herc, but the Herc is not there. So here we have it, these units as they are. Very good. All the same stuff for me. Also the same. I decided to prioritize, once this split up, I decided to prioritize weapons as my faster key, and then the slower key being ship weapons. So vehicle first, just because vehicle is lower tech, so the frequency for getting this is almost always going to be higher than this, and as a result, it gets a slightly faster key. It's important to remember, don't get too hung up on upgrades because you press them at most once, at most 3 times a game, these kind of upgrades. But I mean, even like regular upgrades, like where am I gonna put my cloak? Don't spend too much time thinking about it because it doesn't make a big difference, but you may as well have a reason for doing something if you're gonna do something. All right, cool, here's another of those things. N is the default, but it overwrote my tech lab. Tech lab, as you can see, is usually on N. And Blizzard said, hey, use this one. And I'm like, no, thank you. We're gonna go ahead and put Liberator on 5. And then we'll change the weapon refit because we want Yamato Cannon to be the same for the upgrade because this makes it easier to remember. All right, and then the same thing here. So this is an upgrade for Cyclones, which are on Q. This is an upgrade for Ravens, well, the abilities of Ravens, which is also on Q. Medivacs are on L. This is Banshees. This is Liberators, which we just bound to 5. And to Cloak, I believe we use N. Good. So just, again, makes it easier to remember. Upgrading Cloak and Cloaking is the same key. Nice and easy. Moving on into the Zerg land. All of this is the same as before. S is my morph key. I use that for every morph. Morphin' time, morph. Cool. This one, oh, that's why it's on 2. Can't do that. I was like, N is a faster key. And I just unbound a bunch of stuff. Great. Cool. Sometimes you make mistakes and you have to fix them. That is all. Okay, so moving on, Ravager, L and 2. Excellent. So L is the fast for non-rapid fire situations. 2 is for rapid fire situations, like you want to blast down a building and make it die super fast so you can bust through with your speedy Zerglings and kill them in their face. 2, you want to zone them out and engage intelligently and force them into a bad position or force them into a concave. L. S is for morph. And we have a couple of keys here. Our faster key is gonna go for cancel hold fire because that's the springing of the trap. And then our slower key, which I think is going to be 2, yeah, is going to go to hold fire because that is a less time sensitive scenario. When you're springing the trap, you're saying release, you know, loose and things like that. You want that to be quick. You want that to be your fastest possible key. Whereas setting the trap, not quite as important. That's what this is, the hold fire, cancel, hold fire. Very cool for lurkers if you haven't tried it out already. All right, so our most important thing is abduct. Abduct is another one of these doubles where fast non-rapid fire key, slightly slower rapid fire key. Next most important will be blinding cloud, followed by parasitic bomb, and then finally consume, which I believe can be moved to Q for a little bit more speed. Excellent. Cool. Caustic Spray is another one of these doubles. We really want to be able to rapid fire it down. And this is because we have 1 Corruptor doing Caustic Spray when we click. In Brood War, if you had 10 Corruptors, and I mean, there weren't Corruptors, but just imagine there were. In Brood War, when you clicked with 5 spellcasters and casting a spell like Storm, they would all storm that one spot at once, so you had to be really careful. In StarCraft, there's this AI that says, you want to cast 1 storm? The closest 1 caster will move into position and then cast that spell. So if you want to quickly focus all of your Corruptors on the Nexus, it's really good to use rapid fire. It saves you a lot of time instead of just clicking over and over again. Anytime you want to do something quickly, rapid fire is going to be where it's at. Swarm Host is new and fancy. Basically, the Spawn Locust ability works kind of like an attack move, where it releases the Locusts and has them attack move in a certain direction. So it's best to keep this just the same and moving in whatever direction you want to move it in. Good. Swoop is kind of fancy because it has a capability for autocast. So we're going to talk about that right now. So the reason why we're binding this to Q, because Q is one of our first abilities that isn't also a camera key, which is camera keys use alt. So anything that uses alt, like the new control groups, they use alt. Anything that uses alt will mess with your ability to toggle an autocast ability like swoop. There's a lot of autocast abilities in StarCraft, so keep that in mind. And especially when we get over to campaign and stuff, there's even more autocast abilities. So we really have to be considering how we're using them. Are we ever going to turn the autocast off? You know, like if Overlords had autocast for generate creep, I'd be like, yeah, just keep that on, get rid of the annoying sound, and we're all good. But otherwise, not really the case. Q is our first autocast key. We have 3 autocast keys, and when you're considering an autocast key, you want to consider, how does this combine with Alt? When I press Alt and this key, is it comfortable? It might not be your usual speed. It might be a little bit slower, a little bit faster. You always want to consider the sequence of actions. You want to say, okay, I'm going to bind this to this key. How does it work in a sequence? In a real game scenario, what sequence of actions would I be using to lead up to this ability happening? How comfortable is that combination in my hand? How many fingers am I using in that combination? Ideally, you're using as many fingers as possible, which we know from piano and guitar technique, that if you're playing a very fast passage, the best way to do it is to use many fingers. Even if you're playing the same key as in piano over and over again, a lot of players will alternate their fingers, or even if they're super fast, they'll alternate their hands. If you like Billy Joel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Cool. So this is all the same as before, rapid fire. And then we have fungal growth, which is an AoE. You'll notice the AoE is all the same, AoE and AoE. Try to keep some sort of organizational methods going on here to make things a little bit faster to learn without sacrificing efficiency. Next closest key is 2. We already have a morph key, so we can't have this be S basically, which would be my default. Next fastest key is 2, so place that there. And here we are in a creep tumor. Now, here's where rapid fire kicks in. The new inject will allow you to rapid fire inject, but not like the old video. Put that old video out of your mind. It was really cool, but it doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't work anymore. So the way that you can use rapid fire with spawn larva now is that you can, if you get too much energy, you hold shift and hold your rapid fire key above your hatchery, and it will queue up all the injects you need to totally burn out your energy. So that way you can focus on engaging, and the macro will just take care of itself. So once in a while you go back, you rapid fire through and get rid of all your queen energy, and those, hatcheries will just keep spawning larva over and over and over again. It's very, very nice. Also for transfuse, rapid fire transfuse is quite useful. So we're gonna put a rapid fire alternate here. Normally that'd be N, nope, can't do it. Then 2, nope, can't do it. Q is creep tumor, so we move all the way to 5. So then our alternate here is 5, in case you want to rapid fire transfuse. Occasionally this is useful, especially if you have a lot of small units, like roaches, compared to like the Ultralisk, right? Roaches that you just want to be transfusing the front line. You just hold that rapid fire and just go through there like a purring kitten, just going ahead and making all the beautiful things happen. Contaminate is the same. Rapid fire contaminate is actually kind of a thing, so we have L and N here as usual. Fast, rapid fire, and then we have the spawn changeling, which is kind of like a morph changeling, so it's S. I don't know, it's just a thing. Anyways, over here we've got our queens, burrows, all that stuff. Also, the other thing, I make my spellcasters with Q for the most part, so you notice Q over here, and then if you want to build a ghost, it's also Q, and but warping into High Templar, I think is Q right now. Let's see. Oh no, it's D. Let's actually switch these around. Nice. Because Q and D are really close to each other, so it doesn't really make a huge difference. I like that. Neat. I had to shuffle around my gateway stuff anyway, so it's a bunch of stuff that I'm gonna have to relearn in any case, so not really too big of a deal. Cool, tab. For these, I just like to use the fastest keys for the most part, because there's just 2 of them. Speed is always on G, and then L is the other one. That's the way I like to do it. Morph into a lurker den. Oh, this is interesting. So here we have L and G. I think we're just gonna use G. We want these to be the same though, right? Make sure. Because G is the fastest key, it's the only upgrade, and technically speed is going on in this upgrade. These were combined, so that's why there's a little confusion there. Cool, Neuroparasite. Energy upgrades, also always on G. Across the board, makes it nice and easy to remember. Morph key, very nice. Nidus, Ultra Cavern, Creep Tumor. And then there we go. So that's, make sure one last thing you want to check. You want to make sure the creep tumor on the spread creep on your creep tumor, generally speaking, is the same as your queen. Just makes it easier to remember, but it doesn't automatically happen. So keep that in mind. And now I'll move on to global. Sick. Jump to location 6. Okay, so let's see. This seems to be just a bit weird. T4N. So we have just, this is just Alt 4. For me, I use Alts for jumping to location, and I use Control Alts for creating locations. You can use whichever modifiers you want. Just keep in mind that you do have to make some kind of a decision for the most part. Using your F keys is generally pretty slow. Using combinations of Control and Control Alt will allow you to layer your creation of cameras and jumping to locations on top of your keys. Any key, pretty much. If you, as long as you're using Control Alt and Control Alt, any combination of those things, you're gonna be totally fine. This is actually a special key for me. This one is my rally key, and I use it Control L. And for me, I do a little special thing with my keyboard driver and actually change my Shift to Control. So Shift is functioning as Control, Control is functioning as Alt, and Windows is functioning as Shift. So I can actually, with my thumb, because I'm a lefty, right? With my thumb, I can press Shift and Windows, and it's actually doing a Control Shift in the game. It's quite nice. Quite nice. I lefty mouse, right hand on the keyboard, right hand on the left side of the keyboard. If you can follow that, great. If you can't, just go back and rewatch the section. All the important details were in there. Cool. So the way that I'm doing this is we're keeping create control group. This is really tricky. Really tricky. This is what I'm doing right now is almost impossible unless you have a keyboard driver that rebinds your modifier Shift, Control, and Alt on your keyboard like I just described. Otherwise, it's really difficult because basically you need 6 sets of modifiers to properly set up all of your control groups and cameras. And you have 6 different things to do now that we have all this stuff down here. So, as a result, let's take a look here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add to control group with Control Shift. All right, so. That happens a lot too. If you accidentally click once and you forget that you clicked, it'll just register as that mouse button. So we just that's just in unit management. Make sure you can select things. It's kind of important. And Smart Command Rapid Fire doesn't work anymore, so let's keep that in mind. Toggle minimap terrain, really don't care. I'm gonna just put this on something ridiculous. Cool, let's get back into these things here. Now, create and take away. I don't think I'm used. Oh no, I messed up. Okay. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna hit accept right now. The reason why we're gonna hit accept right now is because we've been doing hotkeys for a little while, and what accept does is it saves the hotkey. So now we can go right back to where we were. But once in a while you wanna do that just to make sure. And actually once you're done this whole process, it's really important to take the file itself and make a backup somewhere that's not in the StarCraft area. Because, like I said before, there's a bug that will randomly, or seemingly randomly, right? There's always some sort of deterministic thing, right? But it seems to be random. I can't really figure out what happens, but your hotkey will totally get rewritten. Some of the keys will end up as default. Some of the keys will end up as, you know, something else. So it's just always good to have a backup file. And it's just a text file. Just put it somewhere else on your computer, throw it in your documents, or throw it on your desktop. I don't really like desktop clutter, so I throw it in my documents. Whatever you want to do. All right, so add a control group. Want to actually mess this up. So this is supposed to be, this is going to be control. There we go. Cool. Now, create control group 1 and take away. We're actually going to use Shift Alt for that. And again, you're like, oh, Shift Alt, that's awful. How can you ever even do that? I've rebound my keys with my keyboard driver. So it's not a problem. Razor Synapse, really good. SteelSeries actually has a quite nice one for that as well. Most other things don't. If you don't have a keyboard that can do this, you can use auto hotkeys, sharp keys, or a combination of the two. Sometimes you need a combination of the two to make things nice. Because auto hotkeys and StarCraft don't play nice. Don't know why. They just kind of don't. Don't shift 4, 3. Remember the order is really important here. If you don't do it in the same order every time, then you're gonna add to one control group and you're gonna think you're adding it to another control group, which is never fun. Okay, and then adding and taking away, right? The add steal is gonna be Control Shift. Again, if these keys seem weird to you, don't worry about it, just worry about the modifiers. Getting the modifiers like this is very nice. And make your life quite happy in almost all the scenarios. You might be saying, how can you place your hand in a comfortable position to press all these weird keys? I have a Carpalex modified keyboard layout for typing. So, stuff is weird. Cool, great. Now, technically you can go through all of these things just to make sure they're right, but for the most part, you're gonna be fine. Except, we're just actually gonna go to hotkeys and say, that's the fast way to back up, to make a backup. All right, and we're gonna go back to JaK +1, cool. So we're totally fine, right? Totally fine, nothing unbound, nothing inbound at all. We're like totally good, right? No big deal. Everything's gonna be just all right. No unbounds, right? Wrong. Unfortunately. Ooh, looks like we got into the game. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to say goodbye to this person and selfishly leave them on their own. A little bit unfortunate. Sorry, JP Fresh, you are now famous forever in a video, and all you had to do was lose one game of co-op. Level 15 Kerrigan, oh my god. Wow. Sorry. This is for a video, so I have to go. Sorry, J Fresh. Very sorry. No experience. Oh, man. Whoa! What's going on? Whoa! All of a sudden, there's unbound stuff? That's right. So now, this is what co-op hotkeys look like. And you notice all this unbound stuff, and you're like, oh man, what did we do? I thought we bound everything. Nope. This is just a new set of hotkeys that we have to go through and bind. This is one of the most common things ever. Cancel will unbind. No idea why that happens, but it does. Happens very often. We have to consider Kadarin Monolith now. So I'm gonna start, I'm gonna put the middle monitor screen on. So you're gonna see my tab a little bit, which will be frustrating, but I'm gonna bring my spreadsheet in here just so you guys can see what's going on. Because we're gonna have to really start considering some new stuff. So Kadarin Monolith we're gonna use on T. That's why we have to write all this stuff down, because once we get to the campaign, this is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. But Jack, you just changed it to W. Don't worry about it. It's totally fine. Everything is totally fine. Okay. L is blink, adept phase. Oh, okay, good, good, good. All right, cool. So we have the high Archon now instead of the high Templar. And feedback is S, and I think it has an alternate for rapid fire. It doesn't. Ooh, it should. It should. So let's check our spreadsheet. And we'll take a look at it. So we're looking for an alternate for rapid fire after S. So that's gonna be F, which is N, by the way. And you might say to yourself, that doesn't make any sense. The sense that you need to remember is that the process that we're going through. We go through each thing. We're gonna just check everything out. Dark Archons. Confusion, mind control. So we're gonna make this easy to remember. We're gonna link up mind control with the neuroparasite, which is another form of mind control, easy to remember. And then confusion is area of effect, which we just used on. If we find out later that this is a rapid fireable thing that would be really cool to rapid fire, we'll go ahead and add an alternate. But for now, this is fine. Cool, 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 cool. L. Reaver creates scarabs. Oops. Excuse me. Is gonna be, oh, it's gonna be 2, excuse me. Because 2 is our creating interceptors button. Easy to remember, same as before. That's the same. One of the things you'll notice too is there are certain things in co-op right now that are impossible to bind. Impossible. Well, okay, let's talk about the word impossible for a second. Technically you can bind them, but you'd have to figure out the exact series of letters and numbers involved in the code of the hotkey file and type it in manually yourself. But that's really difficult to do because normally the way we do that is we change like a stasis field to something like F2 and then do a Control F search file in the text file, and then we'd find it and be like, oh, okay, that's what it's called. Good, now we know what it's called. But a little bit tricky to do that if it doesn't ever show up, which unfortunately does happen right now. But I'm sure Blizzard is someday going to fix that. And I say someday because it's probably an incredibly low priority for them. All right, so recall S. Stasis field, they'll just get the fastest thing. This is all the same, fastest thing, and same, and more same, cool. Another recall, so we match that. Okay, so there's another one of those default things. We're gonna take a look at our spreadsheet real quick and find the answer to this question. So the question is, what is the 6th key? What will it be? Actually, it should be right here. So we're gonna make another row. Coop gate. And then Dark Archon. Can we put it on 2? We can. Make sure you check both. Nice. Continuing on. That's the same. This is actually from before. There's no hallucination here, but if you can see in our spreadsheet, hallucinate is actually an F right now. So let's change that to F. This is gonna carry over into some of the campaigns and to Wings of Liberty's multiplayer. So keep that in mind. And that's why we do this from the top down, right? We do this. What's the highest priority? Multiplayer Legacy of the Void. Next highest, cooperative. Next highest, the campaigns. Last, multiplayer, Wings of Liberty, and Heart of the Swarm, because they don't matter anymore. But we're gonna put them in there in case for some reason we wanna do it, we have the hotkeys available to us. Basically, the more time you have and the more important this is to you, the deeper down the rabbit hole you go. Maybe you just do multiplayer and you say, I don't care about anything else, I'm never gonna play it. Maybe you just do multiplayer and cooperative because you're never gonna play the campaign. Or you play the campaign, whatever it's gonna be. So, we have G and L, which is our first 2 keys, and then these keys are automatics. Let's go ahead and just get the next fastest keys involved here. So we have G and L and S and N. Cool. S and N, and we could actually match this up to the Dragoon building of Dragoons. Just gonna fix that real quick. That's an alternate. I'll go ahead and do some formatting for my OCD. If your OCD requires you to format things, welcome to the club. Okay, things are formatted. We are happy. Cool. So upgrade for the Dragoon is actually the same key as the Dragoon. Upgrade for Blink is the same key as blinking. Cool. And this is just the next fastest key because we already have a Zealot key. Sorry. And we want to prioritize these 2, right? So that's important. These are multiplayer keys. We never change these to make these better because multiplayer is more important. And that's why we do it in priority order. Cool. Transform to Warp Stargate. So here are our Stargates in our Robo facilities. Warp Robo and Warp Stargate looks like we can, the highest we can fit them, or the closest to the home position we can fit them is Q. So we're just gonna do that. Good. We're just gonna make sure these are the same. Ooh, Arbiter. That's a little tricky. Unfortunately, in the campaign, this is a little one of these tricky things. In the campaign, Arbiter is the same as Carrier, but in this hotkey, in this command card, it's not. Now, I don't know when you can build the Arbiter in co-op because I haven't played through all the levels yet, so I haven't made it to level 15 on all my accounts. But I'm just going to assume that it's something that gets used, and if it doesn't, then no big deal. So we're just gonna put it at the next available key and we'll make a note of it in our spreadsheet. And we're gonna use this later on to try and make things line up the best that we absolutely can. So G, S, D, and A, okay. We've got Phoenix, Oracle, Void Ray. Looks like this is available. Okay, so Phoenix, Oracle, Void Ray are, oh no, Phoenix is the same. Let's see, Phoenix is the same. And we have Void Ray. And we also have Carrier. And we have Warp. Right? Phoenix, Void Ray, Carrier, and apparently we also have Arbiter. So we're just gonna throw the Arbiter right over here on Arbiter, which is L. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Cool. All right, so we got our Kadarin amulet back. It's marked as B because that's literally the key that it was long ago in the core. It got banished out to B after Kadarin amulet was no more, but it's still in there. This is another one of those examples of like, people will see this key, be like, oh, they're bringing Kadarin amulet back. No, they're not. It's just a different set of hotkeys. There are 7. This is co-op. So we're just gonna go ahead and put this on our energy button, which is G, always energy on the same one, and then L, and we're just gonna put this on the next available. Cool. Great. After this, we're going to be doing campaign stuff. So keep that in mind, because there are spoilers in the hotkey. So if you don't want to see spoilers, when I get to the campaign part, just shut this video off. Okay, so pulse crystals, cool. Again, these are multiplayer. We don't mess with them. We never change them. So disintegration is L. Ideally, we'd have this on L, but we don't want to overwrite multiplayer, because that's more important to us. So we're just gonna grab the next available keys. Double graviton beam sounds great. We'll go ahead and put that on S. And then our next key available is N. So here we go. Great. That is as great as we can get it. And then over here, Scarabs, actually I think is gonna go on 2, right? 2 is nice. We can go ahead and put that on 2. It's an upgrade to Scarabs. It fits within this group. The upgrades in my document are a little bit lower. So you look at Robo Bay. We actually have S available on the Robo Bay, but it's gonna be hard to remember that. And right now, where the Reavers are built is a bit of a mystery. We gotta put Arbiter in as L though, in our document if we haven't already. Cool. Okay. All set over here and here. Oh, okay, so this stuff is kind of crazy. This is a blink, so that's just gonna be blink. This is the mind control, so that's gonna be S. And then the other stuff is, we're just gonna do a quick save here because things are getting crazy. Hotkeys back. Okay. The other stuff is gonna be in Protoss Story. I already know because I checked it before, so. We're just gonna go to Protoss Story, we're gonna come back to that DT shrine. So here we are. Q is our basic heal button. Guardian Shield is just S, that's from multiplayer. For some reason it didn't carry over from multiplayer, so no big deal. Chrono Beam, it's similar enough. I'm just gonna put it on Q because it's kind of similar to the heal beam. And then we already have S and N. N is for, this is another one of those modes, right? Mode buttons. It's always S and N for me. I like to keep them the same, makes it easier. Blink, no thank you. I'll have Blink be L. Thank you very much. And here we are, the Dark Templar. So Blink is gonna be L. And then Merge is 2, because that's the same as the High Templar. We want that to be the same. We have Storm, Merge, Feedback, just like the single player. Some of the stuff doesn't carry over, so you have to double check it. That's why sometimes randomly your hotkeys will change. Be like, oh my god, my Blink changed to B, what do I do? For some reason, that stalker is in Protoss Story, and it's not this stalker. They're actually 2 different stalkers, even though they look exactly the same. Weird stuff. Cool, so what we have left over, let's check we're using L and 2 here. So let's take a look. We're using L and 2. I should probably change this. I'm gonna change this column to be Jack's keys, just so you can follow along at home. It was not crazy. All right, L and 2, good. So what we have left is S, F, and Q. So let's put this on S. No, actually this is gonna go on S and this is gonna go on F. Also known as N. Cool, now we have these weird Dark Templars taken care of. We can go back and take a look at the Dark Shrine here. Remember, this is F. And Shadow Fury was S, but we also have Mind Control on S, so we have to mess with that. Dark Archons. What's our Morph Dark Archon button? 2. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Makes it things a little bit different. Oh, it's an energy upgrade. Great. Energy upgrades can just be on G. That's easy to remember. And then Shadow Fury. A little bit on the tricky side. We are going to use, what are we gonna use here? I think we're gonna go with Q on Shadow Fury, because that makes it so we can easily fit this in and make it memorable. And Q is also one of our auto cast buttons, so you have to be careful. This is an auto cast ability, so you have to think about how you're gonna use it. For the most part, you're gonna use Shadow Fury in co-op. as autocast, but if you want to target, you're probably not going to turn autocast off. You're probably just going to be like, oh, jump on this thing. But we do have the autocast there, just to be nice, and then we want void stasis always to be the same. Cool. All right, so Sonic Orb is an AoE, so we're gonna keep it on AoE here. Mind Blast is single target and sacrifice. All right, Mind Blast is single target, so it's kind of like feedback. And then sacrifice is, you're targeting friendly units, so it kind of feels to me, kind of Zergy, kind of like consume, which I think we have, crap, we did choose something for consume. That's why we have our document, right? Because we'd have to load into another game to find out what we set consume to. That's why we write all this stuff down. So consume, let's find that. Let's go ahead and find our consume is on F. Excellent. So let's, oh, I know why that's a problem now. Ah, I know why that's a problem now. Interesting. That's why we had it on 5 before. I'm actually gonna I'm thinking about making an exception here. Consume is here now. Oh no, it's not, excuse me. Consume. I think consume is on 2 at the moment. Because this is the new ability. It's important to keep good records. Be better than me, keep better records than me. It's important that we go ahead and parasitic bomb. So consume is here now. If we pushed it out one more slot over here, it would line up with all the other consumes. And I think I'm actually going to do that. Because that brings rapid fire abduct in, and also brings rapid fire blinding cloud in. Consume is not really important to me. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and mark these in red. Because they're changes that we have to go back and make. In another version. And this is what happens, right? You end up going back and forth between multiple versions. Well, that's why we do it in priority order, to try to minimize that. Parasitic bomb is already there. Okay, cool. So putting consume on 5, that's why I was on 5 before. Just kind of lines up nicely. Again, you might want to be super efficient at all points in time, and that's your thing. That's how you want to do it. In which case, fine. Cool for you. In any case, the reason why we're here was because we're looking at the Ascendant, and this sacrifice feels very consumey to me because we target our own units and hurt them for our benefit. Barrier? Wait, didn't we already do this? We have to do it again. Easy peasy. Force field, target lock. We're just gonna use the next best key for that. Technically, you could say it's similar to the Cyclone, but it's not really enough. Ooh, Shadow Cannon. Shadow Cannon is very rapid fireable, so make sure you have a rapid fire on Shadow Cannon. I strongly suggest going into the campaign and rapid firing some shadow cannons out. It's quite fun. Graviton Beam, great. Colossals, Disruption Web, just put it on the fastest key possible. Building Receptors is 2, let's just double check, yes. Okay. Disintegration is L. Blink. All right, so right now we're considering, we know Blink is here. We have one non-rapid fire button and we have one rapid fire button. We have S and F to decide between these 2 remaining abilities. So you have to kind of think about, is one of these rapid fireable, right? Which is that's the kind of decision you have to make when you run into these scenarios. So make sure you do that. Black Hole, probably could cast a couple of them. As long as it's not 125 energy, I don't think it is. Thermal Lance. Thermal Lance, you're gonna direct in a straight line, so you have to do some kind of directional thing, so that's non-rapid fireable. So we're gonna open up the option to rapid fire black hole by putting it on N. And putting this one on S. Bam. All right, and we have another Dark Templar. How many Dark Templar can there be? And we're just gonna make sure we put these on all the same keys as before, just so it's easy to remember. There we go. Transform back. We'll just use whatever we use for the gateway to transform back. Yeah, it's O. It's just, if you have a warp, why would you unwarp? Whoops. That's okay, we don't want B on that anyway. Why would you unwarp? Okay. And then, yeah, so all of these hotkeys seem to be wrong. And I don't know if they're actually used, but we're gonna try to line them up the best we can with our other S and L. We'll try to line them up with our other stuff. This is like a heal, so we put it on our Q, which is the button that is for all of our Healy stuff and channeled stuff. Medevac 2 is also that, right? It's also heal. Whoa, heal is N here. Interesting. We can put N as an alternate. But let's keep it consistent, shall we? Whoa. This is interesting. Looks like we have an area for improvement here in the main area. We can move repair to F. Oh, I know why we did that. 1 second. I know why we did that. Because this is our rapid this is a autocast key, and this one's not. Very important. Very important. Know what keys you can press Alt with and which ones you can't, right? If I press Alt F, that's actually gonna do something other than, it's gonna do something in like control groups. That's gonna do something in cameras if I press Alt F. And it won't do that repair, so that's why repair is on Q. Heal being here is just weird. What's it gonna do? Technically it's better, so we'll go ahead and double it out as alternates, but it almost never happens. It's a little bit redundant. All right, so here we have the two options, the more efficient option or the more intuitive option. And because heal is used so seldomly, I'm putting the more intuitive option in the front. That's the one that you see. Liberator, this is really important. This is really important. This is where, notice how something is gone here. Defender mode, what about the other mode? Where did it go? It was in single player. So the single player hotkeys are what's going to show up in this game because you cannot bind the other mode of defender of the Liberator in the front end when you're in Coop. You have to go into another mode to get that hotkey, and then when you're doing the hotkeys, it's a whole giant mess, and that's why you need to actually go through the different hotkey files, the 7 different hotkey files, if you want to play co-op with all your own customizable hotkeys. And even then, not all of the things will work. Ignite Afterburners is actually shared on a bunch of different things, so we're just gonna find the key that fits all of them. We have a Liberator, we have a Siege Tank, and a Banshee. S, N, L. This is the biggest one so far. We can't use S, N, or L for any of these. Okay, so we just go over into our document over here. And here we go. So we got S and L. So the next available is 2. We'll just go through and make all these 2. Again, there are probably a bunch of hotkeys in here that don't actually ever get used. But since I don't have full familiarity with everything, again, we're not changing this Ignite Afterburners because this is the real one in single player. We're not messing with that. We're not changing anything in, multiplayer. The real game, the really real game of StarCraft. You know what I'm talking about? We don't mess with that. Cool. Instant Seeker Missile. We know that's on L. That's just something that I know. Cool. Cool, that's all bound. Got some weird stuff here. Defensive matrix. Feels like an S to me. This is an L. Then we just have this emergency repair that we can just kind of put everywhere. Hopefully it doesn't cause any problems. Oh, it will cause problems on N, so we have to push it out to 2. Unless something has both emergency repair and afterburners. No, we're good. 2. Put all these emergency repairs on 2. It looks like we messed up our SCV. Oh, our SCV has new stuff. We skipped it for some reason. And as you can see, the process of setting up hotkeys is actually really time consuming. We are halfway through the second mode of hotkeys that we have to fix. And this is just so that I can play StarCraft. Never mind when I have to do this exact same thing for the 4 seed files of the core. So once I've done this, I have to do this 4 more times with 4 different layouts. And I actually have to think about it in those 4 times a lot more because I'm building a layout for other people. When I build it for me, I'm just like, yeah, this is what I prefer, I'm gonna do this. When I build it for other people, I have to consider, okay, what is best for the average human being? And then make that decision. Let's make sure that all this is the same, it's good. Okay, so new stuff here. This is a little tricky. We have to definitely consider this stuff here. So first of all, Merc Compound should be pulling from Wings of Liberty campaign, which I do believe I have Wings of Liberty campaign stuff in the file. It's not showing up, so this is probably an unlinked Merc Compound, which means it's just inefficient. It's a duplicate Merc Compound that only shows up for co-op and is independently bindable. Okay, sure. Let's see. So our buildings are down here. Our advanced buildings look like the first one available here. I'm gonna caps lock this. We're also gonna cut it short. Just to show that this is not a single player and it's not important, so we can remember it. Then we have these 2. Interesting. Hive Mind Emulator and Devastation Turret. Okay, so we actually have to make another row for basic here. Okay, Supply Depot, Barracks, and eBay are still there. Refinery, Missile Turret, Bunker, all that's still there, but there's no sensor tower. 5 is the next available key. Let's take a look. I think, is there something that's gonna be there? Really tough to try and remember this. Perdition Turret. We'll find out when we go to the campaign, but again, we wanna optimize for Coop first. So let's consider what are the best keys. So Devastation Turret and Hive Mind Emulator are more important. So let's go ahead. Actually, Hive Mind Emulator, I'm pretty sure doesn't actually show up. So we're gonna go ahead and give Devastation Turret the 5, Hive Mind Emulator. Gonna be a little bit weird. We're gonna have to, there's gonna be a campaign basic build as well after once we get to that. So we'll have to rearrange these things potentially in the future. For now, we'll just do this Devastation Hive Mind Emulator. Actually, I'm pretty sure there's a Hive Mind Emulator in the campaign and a sensor tower. So I'm gonna preempt this by putting the Hive Mind Emulator over here. and the perdition turret, I think. Wait a minute, there are perdition turrets in Coop. There are definitely, okay, this is. All right, devastation turret is gonna be T, hive mind is C, and perdition turret is gonna be 5. There's definitely perdition turret in Coop. So T and C. It's right here. I know it is. I know it is. This is a tricky thing about hotkeys is oftentimes they will lie to you. They will say, there's no perdition turrets in Coop, and then you load up a Coop game, it's like perdition turret. And it's like, where did that hotkey come from? It comes from Wings of Liberty Campaign. So to change that hotkey for cooperative, you actually have to go into campaign, then set your hotkeys for perdition turret, considering all the things that are going to happen to you in Coop, and get that set up accordingly. Blizzard, if you're listening to this, 1 hour in, I doubt that you are. If you're listening to this, please just put all the hotkeys on one front end and don't make us reload into all the 7 different game types that you have separate front end hotkeys set up for. Just make it all one and just go ahead and put it over here like Protoss, Protoss Campaign, Protoss Cooperative, Terran, Terran Campaign, Terran Cooperative. Whatever you have to do. Take a little bit of time, clean this up, please. I know it's not a high priority for you, but maybe it should be. This is annoying as hell. Even if you change a couple of hotkeys, a lot of confusion going on amongst the humans. Okay, let's just make sure we're done all of this weird stuff. Cloak is still the same. That's all still the same, cool. All right, select builder. Now let's make sure we don't change it from what we have in single player. I'm gonna say that so many times incorrectly. It's C. That's gonna unbind some other stuff, but we don't care, right? Because our priority is the multiplayer competitive experience. Okay, here we are. Vespene Harvester. So that's also over here. Let's go ahead and we haven't saved in a while. That's important. That's very important to do. Oh, all this got unbound. Awesome. That was random, right? Am I right? I think mothership. What do we have mothership on? What's a mothership we can link this up with? 2. Yeah, we'll link it up to 2. That sounds good. Okay, cool. So, continuing on through hotkey hell. We are somewhere around 1.5 out of 7 different things we'll have to go over. But each one will inherit more and more and more from the previous ones. And once we go through that, a bunch of stuff is gonna get broken. We're gonna have to go back and fix it again. All right, so let's see. It looks like S is available here. Let's just make sure. Yeah, S. Terran production, one of the most annoying things that exists. Okay, we have GLS. And all that is pulling off move forward. So what are our other options after G, L, and S? And we have to actually look at this as the Coop barracks. We have to look at that as a separate line because it's gonna get really confusing. Okay. so it's really tough because we have to preempt a lot of stuff here. But, you know, we want to make it efficient for cooperative first. So let's go ahead and do that. We have GL, can't do S. So let's take a look. GLS. Actually, I'm just gonna do this for you guys as we go. Let's do this for you right now real quick. Some of them are the same, some of them are different. I've never used tilde, so I just don't have this key. Which is fine because it never gets used anyway. We can just delete this row. Column. I know what the difference between a row and a column is. I really do. I'm just gonna push this out because that stuff's annoying. Don't wanna look at it. Cool. All right, let's get back into it. So we have to choose two things for these. It's not S. So it's looking like Q, right? This is the tricky part, right? So it looks like Q, but Q is ghost, so we might run into problems. So we're just gonna be safe and put Firebat on. We're gonna match Firebat and Hellbat because that's cute, right? No, we're not gonna do that. Because actually, pressing Marine Medic back and forth is quite nice. Firebat's gonna be A and Medic is gonna be 5. Okay. Hopefully this doesn't cause any problems. Cross our fingers. Okay. Just so you saw what I did. This is QWERTY keys. And these are mine. They're different. This is the key score, so it's the approximate speed at which the average human will be able to press these keys from the home position. Okay, so we got that taken care of, hopefully. That's one of the things that's probably gonna cause us problems in the future, so just keep that in mind. When we get into the other sets of hotkeys, it's probably gonna cause problems. So that's why we wrote this down, what we set it to, so that way we can remember. All right, so high-sec auto-tracking, where's that at? High-sec auto-tracking is on N for us, and this is a turret upgrade, so we're just gonna match it up, and then we'll just choose the next best key, which is 2 for the other upgrade, which is fire suppression. Salvage, I hope this works. Okay, cool. You can just salvage, no worries, cool. G for energy, that's actually left over from wings. Okay, here's another tricky part. So now we have the coup fact. Okay, and here, we got Hellbat, Goliath, Siege Tank, Cyclone, Thor. So we have Hellbat, Thor, Cyclone, Tech Lab Reactor cancel, of course, Siege Tank. Okay, yeah, and lift and select builder just kind of show up on all the buildings. We know that. Halt also shows up on all the buildings. No worries there. But we don't have the Hellion and the Widow Mine. So we can put our Goliath on the best possible key here. Probably. Again, this is another one of those things that might cause problems. put the Goliath here. And hope that it works out. Oh, no it won't, because the Hellion's there. Okay, cool, we will put it on R. Hellion is here. And then you can put the Diamondback on 6. Predator, we're gonna leave. Actually, Predator, we're gonna banish for now. Okay? Because I don't think we actually build this. I'm like 99% sure we don't actually build it. We might run into problems later and we'll fix it. That's kind of the deal you have to do with a lot of this stuff, because you're not gonna have just innate deep knowledge of every single hotkey that's used in every single part of the game. I don't have that personally, and I probably have put more hours considering and working on hotkeys than any other human in StarCraft. It's not like me being bragging, it's just me trying to be accurate, and I think that's very likely to be accurate. So, let us continue on. Forward we march into the darkness. All right, so this is all set. Armory, ooh, some cool stuff. Whoa, regenerative biosteel. I have not been getting that upgrade. I hope it exists. I've been just basically using SCVs to repair when playing mech. Increases the range of all vehicle and ship weapons by 1. Wow, that's pretty great. So we're just gonna take the next available keys. Pretty sure this is co-op only, so we shouldn't run into problems. S and F, also known as S and N. All right, then we got the Wraith in here. All right, so we have Viking, Banshee, Battle Cruiser that we have to worry about. We're just gonna banish that real quick like. Okay, so we have Viking, Banshee. All this stuff is still here. Battle Cruiser. Cool. And Wraith fits in nicely on R for Wraith. S, that's the same, and Tech Lab. Oh, good lord. This is, it's gonna be interesting. Going to be interesting. Let's see. Stabilizer packs. This is a holdover from campaign. That's where this is coming from. Okay, S for Banshee. Viking, we'll just put on the Viking key, that's fine. Another Viking, we'll just put on the next available best key, which is this. Firebats are on A. And then G, L, and S. 2 is the next fastest available key. All right, siege tanks, I believe built with S. Hellions and Hellbats are built with G, but also built with 5, and G is already over here, so that actually works out quite well. Goliath is L. Another Goliath. Cyclones are Q. Another, wait, Magfield Accelerator. That's already a thing. That's in single player. Thors are built with D, which I think is still available. All right, so we have this other Goliath thing and the Cyclone thing, so we're just looking at the G, L, S. So we don't have anything on N, so we just toss the weight on N. We don't have anything on 2 yet, so bam, tossing it on 2. Good. That's what you do. When you have less stuff that's left over and you can't make sense of it, just pick the best keys. You'll eventually memorize everything. Woo! All right, blue, blue, blue. Love seeing blue. Only 48 unbound to go, and then we go to the next one. Okay. And once we're done with this next phase, we're gonna go ahead and create another backup. You can't have enough backups. All right, heal. We use Q for heals. All the heals are Qs. Stem. All right, Yamato is S and N. Jump is L. Fighter strike. So we have S. Let's see, we got S and, oh, do we have G? Oh, G, it attacks, so we have G already. All right. S and L. So we have 2QD. Q, actually 2 and Q are the next available ones, so we're just gonna go ahead. Oh, for 2. Oh, shit. I do that so many times. It's because initially my hold position used to be on Q, and my abilities used to be on G, and I switched that at some point, and that's still somewhere floating around the back of my head. Recall fighters. It's actually an interesting thing to do. I don't think banishing the tab is actually intelligent. So we're just gonna put on the next available key, which I think is, there we go, 5. So we're just gonna throw it on 5. Cool. Cool. Spectres, though. Ha! Oh no. We can't put it on the same thing. So unfortunate. We're just gonna throw it on J then, because we don't care about this at all. Maybe you do and you want to put these on better keys, but I'm a human who does not care about this at all. I wonder if that changed to what the ghost does. Nope. The ghost can have tab, but for some reason, the Spectre can't. So there are so many things. I can't even count the number of things. All right, so nuke is Q. So let's keep that consistent here. And let's just double check if that's the way it is in the single player. Nuke is Q. GLMR is the home row of this position. In QWERTY, that's WERG. Right, all right. Nuke. Nuke is Q. Okay, good. All right, domination. That feels like S to me. Taking control. That's another mind control option, so we want to keep those the same. In the target area of effect spells, we usually put on L. And we have Psi Shield, so that's gonna just be on the next available key, which is N. At some point, you begin memorizing the order of the next available key and you don't have to check. I'm reaching that point. Piece by piece. Sick. Deploying spider mines with rapid fire is amazing. So we're gonna put that on a rapid fire key. And replenish. Construct a new spider mine. That sounds very much like constructing scarabs and interceptors, so we'll do that. And then the random afterburners thing. Apparently there's another one of those, so we're gonna push this out from 2 to whatever's next. Push that out to Q. Will that be a problem for that other stuff that we had set up? No, it will not. Weird fucking afterburners. Let's make sure we get them all. Where's the weird one on here? There it is, Q. Replenish spider mines makes sense. Afterburners, yep. Rapid fire spider mines are the best. Cool. Goliath has that weird repair thing, which can be on 2 without any problems. Wraith's cloak, thank God. Heal. Heal. Q is our heal. Irradiate. Defensive matrix. Ooh, we should make defensive matrix the same. Psi shield. Let's do the defensive matrix to be N. And irradiate, sure. It does area of effect damage. It's already on L. Sounds awesome. Lift, load, unload. Tactical jump. Ooh, we can't make tactical jump the same as blink. That's really unfortunate. We'll have to be a little inconsistent here because we're prioritizing multiplayer over co-op and over campaign. And it's weird because some of these keys that we're changing are actually campaign keys, even though we're currently in the co-op section of the hotkeys. Again, we're in hotkey hell. It doesn't have to make sense, it just is. Keep in mind that some of the things you see here, like tactical jump with the Hercules, might not actually even be a thing. It could have been a thing at one point, and the hotkeys just never get cleaned up. They literally, in the history of StarCraft, they've never been cleaned up once. Okay, maybe that's not true, but it's just where, you know, the hotkey files is where shit goes to die. It just hangs out there. But like, they tried it, it didn't work, and they never removed it. It just hangs out here in case they ever want to use it again, because it's like too much work to remove, I guess. So we're gonna have to put that on something. GL, I'm gonna put it on N. Why not? Why not? Tech reactor, okay, here we go. So we have to remember all the things that we did. We did this. D2S. Why this isn't automatically changed when you change it in here, I have no idea. The amount of redundancy that happens in this is actually crazy. I can remember most of this stuff, but not all of it. What's that second row? S2QD. Excellent. Okay. Mercs. Actually, mercs are probably one of the most difficult parts about this, because lining up the mercs with their unit is really hard to do, if not impossible in most situations. So we're gonna put the war pigs here. Devil dogs, we're gonna put here. Hammer Securities, Spartan Company. Siege Breakers. Let me just make sure. Siege Tanks are an S. And then Battle Cruisers are on D as well. Awesome! Okay, so then we have these things that will not make any sense, you just have to remember them. So we just use the best possible things available in order. N available. 2QA. 2QA we're using. 5. Okay, moving on. Perdition turret salvage, I believe is S. Hopefully it doesn't mess anything up. Oh, it doesn't. Salvage is S. Upgrade. Whoa, I didn't know you could upgrade the drill. Sick. We're gonna use S for this, because that's kind of like morph. Okay. Ooh, gotta love that blue. 30 to go. Larva. Oh, stupid things. Okay, let's. G. Birth row. This is not gonna be good. I can already tell. I know I'm changing things right now, and it's gonna mess everything up. I just have this feeling in my gut right now. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's check out our larva. Actually, I'm gonna pull my spreadsheet to the side for a second, because I think that, let's see. You just have to follow along at home. Zergling, drone, Hydralisk is good, Roach. Overlord. Oh, that's correct. Infestors on Q. Ultralisk on C. Corruptor should... Oh, it's not even there. Okay. So technically we could put the Brutalisk on D, but I think it's going to cause problems. We're going to put the Brutalisk on... Oh my god, Tab, we already did it. There are so many things going on here. I think we actually have to put it on D. As a result... Yes, probably. Or we can put it on 6. Let's be safe and put the... you know what? No. Let's be aggressive and put it on D. And if it fucks shit up, then we can go back and say, it fucketh shit uppeth. Okay, we're gonna have to type it. We're gonna have to do larva coop. Okay, Zergling, drone, roach, overlord, infestor is all the same. Mutus swarm host ultra is the same. And then tab for aberration. That's what it's called? Aberration. Okay. Oh, that feels bad. Oh, something is gonna break. That is absolutely one of those things that's totally gonna break something. I can't wait. Can't wait for that to happen. Get ready, when we go into campaign, this is gonna be a giant mess. We might have to like make a separate tab in the spreadsheet just for larva. That's how messy it's gonna be. Okay, bio launchers. We have Coop Basic for Zerg. Okay. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have all the basic buildings plus 1. So we have all of this stuff plus 1, which is the bile launcher, which is gonna be right here. And that is, oops, 5. And then Scourge Nest, remember, not unbound, it's just the automatic thing. You might not always want it to be what is automatic. There we go. All right, advanced coop. Or coop advanced. Let's stay consistent, shall we? We'll have all the normal stuff plus 1 more, and that's gonna be on F. And the 1 more is called Scourge Nest. Is that how you spell Scourge? So many letters for like 1 syllable. Scourge. Deep breaths, guys. We're getting through it. It's not easy making hotkeys. All right, frenzy, sick. That got picked up from something else. Consume, sick. Corruption. Yes, the same. What? Swoop. Yes, got picked up. Makes it so much easier when they inherit to the hotkeys. Okay, this is a little bit weird. Deep Tunnel I don't think we actually use. So we're gonna banish it to a key that's far away that we'll never use. Just to be sure, and we'll put the rest of this stuff just to match for now. Again, look, queen here, swarm queen. What the hell is a swarm queen? You don't know. Like, man, why is my spread creep weird? Because you didn't change it on your swarm queen, you changed it on your regular queen. When you were loaded into a different hotkey layout, it's like, what the hell? I actually think the creep spreading from this is actually from one of the hero units in Heart of the Swarm campaign. Why that was done, I have no idea. No idea at all. The number of people that change their hotkeys must be so low that Blizzard is just disincentivized. This is, for some reason, Zergling Reconstitution, which is a passive ability, has a hotkey. So again, we just banish it to some key that we'll never use, never touch, accidentally or on purpose. All right, cool. Lurker Den is this. Muscular Augments, we know is this. Evolve Frenzy, we can match to the casting of Frenzy, which is L, great. This is a weird order for things. More life for Hydralisks. We can just put that on the Hydralisk button. Oh no, we can't, because we want to keep that the same. Again, multiplayer has the preference, has the priority. We just take the next best key, which is N, and then this will be 2, or the key for Lurker? Nope, it has to be 2. Doesn't match. This is crazy, by the way. 12 range Lurkers is amazing. I can't wait till I got on that level. I can make some 12 range Lurkers. It's gonna be so much fun. Okay, cool. All of this is the same. We just have to make sure it's consistent. Again, these are from before. What the heck? This is crazy. Wow! Okay, so, here we go. Now, we has metabolic boost, G and L, very good. GL. SN2QD. So we have SN2Q. I have no idea what any of this stuff does, so I'm just putting it on the fastest keys. Same thing over here. These are Kerrigan abilities. Hopefully this works for Zagara too. GLN, GLS, and 2Q. N, 2Q. And I think they arrange it like the earliest abilities are on the left and the later abilities are on the right. So that's why we're going in this order. GL, S, N. Now, there are some keys that are not rebindable in the front end. They're only rebindable in the back end. But the only way we can find those out is through playing. Because what we see here when we're going through this are the keys that are rebindable. So it's only positive here. When I get into the game and I'm playing games later, I'm like, man, I went through, and this is why we do this, right? I went through all my hotkeys, everything was bound, and this still isn't correct. So now we have found a key that is not bindable through the front end. We have to go find, by some miracle of magic and programming, the exact sequence of capital and lowercase letters preceding an equal sign that will function in the hotkeys file as an ability to change that hotkey to what we want it to be. A little bit unfortunate, but it is true. Baneling nests automatically spawn banelings? What? That is so cool. I hope it's a real thing. All right, again, I see healing there. Blast rate. It's all for banelings, so they're just gonna go L, N, S. We're just gonna kind of go in order like that. Same thing here. Ooh, wait a minute. Locusts. We're just gonna go GL. N. Oh, excuse me, GLSN. GL. This is S. This is multiplayer. It takes priority. N. 2. Q. A. It's so many upgrades. Okay, so let's N2 QD. N2 QD. Whew. Save that real quick. Okay. If you are working in the field of trying to find the hotkeys that are not bindable so we can report them to Blizzard, definitely hit up Sixtus the Fifth on Team Liquid. He is the person who found all those keys for us when we were making the Core 2.0, and he's currently found a bunch of them. If you go to the core thread on Team Liquid, he's in there fairly recently. But if not, his name is Sixtus the Fifth. SIXTUSTHEFIFTH. That is the exact spelling. PM him and say, hey, I'm working on this. Let's get in touch. Let's work together so we can solve this problem. Because Sixtus the Fifth is awesome. Okay, now this is a bit tricky. Kerrigan in co-op versus Kerrigan in the campaign. And again, we want to optimize for Kerrigan in the, oh, by the way, we banish all this stuff. Kerrigan can't actually do this stuff while she's burrowed, but it shows up in the command card for some reason. That's just wrong. So just banish these keys, no worries. Leaping Strike is a single target, so we'll use S there. LS, want to use N for one of these. Sure, let's just go in order. Well, we can't because that's burrow. I do that a lot. So we use 2 and then D or Q. Oh, Q. Q. Cool, very good. Zagara. We're trying to make Frenzy the same. Ah, nice, Frenzy the same, cool. And we'll make, oh, she can't do this stuff while she's burrowed either. Okay, Q is fine for that, I suppose. We could probably do better than that. S, we have SL. This is a more used function, right? It's lower mana cost, so we want to make that a faster key. N is not available. 2. 2 is a little bit faster, 2. And we'll put the Q on this. Excellent. Very good. Very excellent. Oh, Z? No, thank you. Please inherit that from the regular. L, S. And then for these we chose L and 2. And morph is S. Morph is S. Morph is S. Okay, unburrow, just make sure. Unburrow is S. And then we've been using L for spawn locusts. And then uproot and root should be the same as unburrow and burrow. So S and N. And all that is, by the way, all that is just when you can get an upgrade in the campaign to make them cloaked, which means they'd be doing burrow unburrow. But if you don't get that upgrade, they're just rooting and uprooting. So just keeping that in mind, making sure all the spawn locusts are the same. Deep tunnel here is something that's actually used. So let's find the next available key. L N S 2, I think it is. GLSN 2QD. GLSN 2. Excellent. Burrow charge on L sounds good. Toxic Blast is an auto cast. First auto cast is 2, so put that there. L, burrow charge. Spawn something. Put that on an S, and ensnare is an area of effect, so we put that on L, just to make it easier to remember. Sick. All right, and now this upgrade is this. And where did we see these upgrades before? There it is, N and 2. N, 2. And this is why randomly sometimes your hotkeys will change, because your lurker den will go from a lurker den to an impaler den. And that's actually a different set of hotkeys. It shouldn't be, but it is. And as a result, you'll be like, man, my hotkeys changed in the middle of myself going through the campaign. This is why. It's a bit of a pain in the rear end, but what can you do but write Blizzard a letter and say, hey, will you talk to JaKaTaK? Talk to JaKaTaK about making a better hotkey UI. He will totally do that for free. He will work with all of the people about all of the hotkey things. All right, Jack. And then we'll go back to Jack +1, which is our base. And somehow something came unbound. All we did was accept. Whoa, everything came unbound. That was weird. No hotkeys. Oh, we have to do it all again. Okay, I think I remember most of this stuff. And this is all banished. Damn it. So apparently if you create a backup, make sure you hit accept first. I just learned this. Because I usually back up manually in the file, and I started backing up this way recently, just so I could show you all how it's done, basically. I'm just gonna go through this super quick and fix all the hotkeys, because you've already seen me do it, so there's no need. Oh, actually, that's wrong. That's wrong, isn't it? It shouldn't be 2. There should be an S in here. Oh, the S is down here. That's why it's wrong. Okay, cool. That's why it's different anyway. Cool. Cool. Okay, everything's blue, right, guys? Except, very important, hotkeys. Create a profile. Okay, let's go back to Jack +1. Did it unbind anything? No, it didn't. Okay. Now, it's time to go into the campaign. Now, for this, all you have to do is go into the master archives, and it'll load the hotkey system for you. See, all you have to do is go into the master archives. You don't have to actually load a map, just go into the master archives. And now we have the Legacy of the Void campaign stuff loaded up, which is different, again. But you can see less and less red every time we do this, because more and more hotkeys are being inherited. See these? They were inherited when we did co-op, so we don't have to do them again. This consistency can be improved vastly, but it's helpful already that there's some inheriting of abilities. Okay, now here's some weird stuff. I don't think this actually happens. These things, we're gonna banish all of these things because they're not actual things that actually happen. I know because I played the campaign. See how much easier that was? Ah, nice. Isn't this music awesome? The Legacy of the Void music, I think, is probably the best music out of all of the musics from the trilogies. One of the Swarm ones was really good though. I liked one of the Swarm ones a lot. And of course some of the Terran stuff from Wings of Liberty. Big fan of that. All right, cool. So we can get some consistency going on here. Phase cannon. We'll make that as the same key to build cannons. Taking control, we've already established that S is our key for that. Good. Charge, we know is 2, and Whirlwind. Is another autocast. Our secondary autocast key is, let's take a look. I actually don't have an overview for my particular one. I just used the random overview. The secondary autocast is actually C, A. 2A and C. Ah! Also known as Q for my layout. I swap A and Q in my layout. Gotta remember that. That's gonna happen a lot. Just deal. Charge is 2. Charge is 2. And this is another autocast, so Q and S, those were inherited. Awesome. L. Cool. Move command, for some reason, comma is not working. Hey there, don't know why you did that. We are in the campaign, remember, we're in the campaign. Look away now if you don't want to see any spoilers. They did a pretty good job, though, of avoiding most spoilers. All right, that's a charge, so we're just gonna put that the same as charge. That's a whirlwind, so we're gonna make that the same as whirlwind. And that's a shield thing, so we're just gonna make that S. Oh no, most of our shield things are N, right? Yeah, we'll keep that. We'll try to keep that consistent. N is like this shieldy thing. Shadow Fury is Q, yep, N. Good, 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 good. Everything looks great, we already did this shit. Artanis. So this never happens. Dash is kind of like Blink, so we're gonna make that the same key. And Astral Wind is a healy heal. So we put the heals on Q. What up, what up, what up? All right. Vortex. This stuff isn't real. It doesn't ever happen. So we just put it on keys that we're never gonna use. You're like, Jack, you never use the A key? That's right, I never use it. But you're weird. Excellent observation. Okay. All right, we got a charge. Oh crap, I don't know if this is an auto cast charge or... Crap. Since I don't remember if it's an auto cast charge or not, we're just gonna put it on L and 2. But it's one of those things where like, this might be like Artanis' charge, and probably is, but it might be like a charge of a Zealot. If it's like Artanis' charge, we'd put it on L. If it's like a Zealot, we'd put it on 2, because it's an autocast, we want to toggle that. Actually, I'm pretty sure Alarak has all of his stuff autocast. Except this one. Ooh. You know what? This is, I remember, this is autocast, and this is an AoE, so we put on L. So that all kind of works out. Okay, L, that's inherited. Yay, more inheriting of keys makes my life easy ease. Don't put in too much sleaze in your sleeves, or no one wants to bees hanging out with you. All right. Blink, Thermal Lance. Yep, this is taken from Warzone. Ooh, we want to match that. We want to match that. Shadow Furious Q and Shadow Dash. We want to keep that. We'll line that up with teleports to target location. Right. Right, yeah, Shadow Dash is just like Lightning Dash. Very creative. Zeratul, what's up, bud? Void Armor, Blink, Blink, another Blink, Void Prison. Imprisons shit. S, sounds great. Shadow Blade, single target. Zeratul on Ire, Zeratul Wings of Liberty, Zeratul. See, look, we haven't even loaded Wings of Liberty, and yet it's showing us the Wings of Liberty stuff. And yet, when we load up the Wings of Liberty campaign, stuff will change. We're just gonna save this real quick, just to be sure everyone is happy and everything is awesome. Right, we just did Zeratul. Okay, S. Oh, Q, great. This stuff is, ooh, carrier. Most of this stuff was inherited properly. Moving on to Terrans. Mods. Actually. Actually, I should do that. I should do that with face. Excellent. Mods. For people who post spoilers in chat, just give them a warning, but also purge their chat, so that way innocent bystanders who come by will not be spoiled, especially with big stuff like characters that die and characters that live. That's kind of really the most basic level of spoilers that you don't want to. We're gonna, none of that stuff in our chat for a while. Not a problem. Just go ahead and purge that chat real quick and we'll be okay. Oh, you don't have to time him out. Just purge the chat. Just purge the chat. If you click on his name, you can just hit the purge button and it'll remove their chat without removing them. Okay, let's get back in here. Actually, I'm gonna do some more clapping to signify that we're back in. This is useful for editing stuff. Okay, sensor tower is W. How did that happen? Let's find out, shall we? Sensor tower. I don't think it's supposed to be a W. Oh, it is. Oh, that's where it is. Okay. Good to know. DL charge or D8 charge is a little bit different, so don't have to worry about that one too much. Snipe and all that is the same. Ooh, lock on. That's an auto cast. That's not supposed to be L. Yeah. It's supposed to be 2. Okay, I'm gonna write myself a little note over here. I'm gonna redo my auto casts, but for the time being, I'm just gonna stick to what I've been doing so far in this tutorial. It says, I'll have rapid fire options. Cool, all that was inherited, great. Select builder, just make sure we have this right. Select builder is one of these things that messes up a lot of stuff. It's one of those things, it comes unbound all the time. You have to reassert. No. Oh, great. This is awesome. I was really hoping none of this stuff got unbound, and it didn't. You notice though how they did the hotkeys incorrectly because it was the choice between the ghost or the specter. They fixed this the way they did hotkeys. They fixed the way they did hotkeys in Legacy of the Void, but they didn't do it in Wings of Liberty. So it's a totally separate thing. And they were actually forced to fix this problem because they actually ran out of space in their command card. They literally did not, they had more than 15 things involved. So they had to find excuse me. Lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. Sorry, this is a long video. This is a 2-hour video. I'm gonna be rendering this for a while. Okay, Spectre, we just put this on the next option. It was just a little bit of background information anyway, not too critical. We got 5 and D, S and Q, L and G already taken up. Coop racks. Listexia's getting to me. All right, we got the Marine, the Marauder, the Medevac, Cancel, Tech Reactor, and we also have Ghost. And we have Fireback and Medic. That's why I put them over here, because I knew it was gonna be a problem. So the next key is 6. Was where we put Spectre. Notice the very much running out of keys. Cool, that's all correct. Ooh, here's a tricky part. Now this is why we wrote all this stuff down. Terran production is one of the most annoying parts about it takes about 10 hours or so of work to figure out what we're going to do for one of the 4 variants of the core, which are used to seed the rest of the files. And I haven't done it yet for my own layout, and you're watching me do that with my own layout right now. Hellion is still there. Okay, so what we're gonna do, because Vulture isn't in the other games, we're actually gonna give priority to the Goliath on L. Cool, so campaign will have the Goliath here. Normally that wouldn't be there, but I think the rest of this stuff is appropriate. Just make sure we have Cyclones in here. Oh, we don't have Cyclones. Okay, cool. That's a space that we can use for another unit then. Probably the Diamondback, which is most similar to the Cyclone. Doesn't have to be a good reason, we just have to find a reason to do something. Some kind of organizational thing that will help us remember. And maybe just throw Vulture on 6. Again, suboptimal things are gonna happen in campaign. The important part is that they're optimal in what we prioritize, which for me is multiplayer, then cooperative, then the campaigns. Wraith, ooh, here's we have another problem. All right, and because we create this visual situation earlier when we were making the Coop stuff, now it's easier to make a solution in campaign without going in a circle of, oh, I fixed it here, but it broke here. I fixed it here, but it broke here. Okay, so what do we have? We've got Vikings, Medevac. We have the full, we got Viking, Medevac, Banshee, Battle Cruiser. All this stuff is here. It looks like the Wraith is not gonna fit in until here, right? Because we want the Wraiths to line up. We want it to be nice and easy and similar in all situations. So Wraith is gonna get 5, looks like. And it should be okay. I'm gonna keep hoping that that's the case. All right, cloaking field research. We want it to be the same as before. Medevac thing here, that's great. And one of these has to be Q. Let's go ahead and find, yeah, let's make this one Q. And this one can be, oh, N? No, cancel. Can't do that. N, we have N, C, 2 is available, right? So we press 2 on occasion to do one of the spells that this affects. So it has some kind of a connection. And Q is here because it's a Raven. Ravens use seeker missiles. Q is what we will to do to build Ravens. Again, really stretching it out on this one, but we are in the lower priority area, so it's okay to do some lower priority stuff here. Okay. So again, the way that we do cooperative is we have to mark down the different sections of cooperative and campaign and barracks. And it's just like a little puzzle. We just gotta figure out, okay, how does this optimally fit where the firebat can always be the same, whether I'm playing cooperative or campaign? And it's like, okay, it fits here. If we're only worried about cooperative, we can move the firebat in one. We can move the medic in one too. But because I want hotkeys that work in all the different game types, because I like them all, I'm just going to put them all in a place that's great, but prioritize a certain area. So multiplayer, prioritized. So this ends up being here as a result. And then this is prioritized over this, but this is a multiplayer, so it ends up being as such. So it's just a matter of keeping track of everything. And for me, it's a lot easier to work with a puzzle like this when it's visual. So I just write everything down, I see it in front of me, all the variables, I can put them into a place where they work out nicely. We just have little rules. Heal is Q, heal's always Q. That's inherited. Spectre, cool, nuke is Q. Easy. Area of effect, single target, cloak. Sonic Lash, I think is a little bit more similar to, oh, S is decloak, that's why that's 2, right? Snipe, single target, and then we have Sonic Lash, single targets. Those line up. Rapid fire spider mines, replenish spider mines is 2. Yep. All good stuff. Q is heal, irradiate is L. Yep, just like before, that's all inherited. Ooh, and then we have the Rainer mission. So we have area of effect, Chrono Rift, another area of effect stuff. So this, we really just want to use the best keys that we have, which are G, L, S, N, 2Q, A. So we have G, L, S, N, 2, G, L. Cool. Just use the best ones we have available to us. L, N, because dropping a turret is the same as a Raven. So let's look at our Raven real quick. See if that changed. NC are the 2 options here. And let's just make sure that's correct here in our document. NC. Correct. So let's make that the same for Rory. NC. Cool. Q, because that's all our Healy stuff. Snipe is the same. Domination is S. Ooh, do we fix that? There's no domination here. Okay. Domination is S. Release minion? You know what? We'll use S and N here. This actually works out quite well. Look at how well this works out. We have S and N, which are our toggles. SN, we're toggling. But S is also our domination, so it just works out so nicely. And then nuke is Q all the time. Every of the nukes are Q. Cool. Area of effect. Shields we put on N. And then consumption. Oh, consumption's on 5. All right, consume. All the hurt your allies to help yourself spells. And then that can be L, no problem. Cool. Nitropax is just S. Easy. Very nice. Okay. Wraith Cloak actually isn't a thing. Don't be confused by this. It's not actually a thing. And we ended up using Q for this and 2 for this, so keeping it consistent. So that way, whether we have a tech reactor or regular reactor, it's gonna be the same. Already inherited all this stuff here. Hive mind emulator, mind control. Guess what? We're gonna use S, because we always use S for mind control. And it lines up very nicely. Zerg, no unbound, cool. Very nice here. Yeah, this is looking all exactly the same. Good. Feel the efficiency flow through you. What? Yeah, good. G, lining up. Line them up. All right. Good, looks like this entire section was all inherited. We didn't have to change anything. What, new stuff? Dahaka. Heal, that's gonna be on Q. Spawn something, it's gonna be on S, and drag. So that's a lot like abduct, so we just put it on the abduct key. Easy peasy. Same key as spawning infested Terrans. These are banished things that don't actually exist. And then we have, this is single target. I think we wanna use S for this. Let's take a look at our basic spellcasters. Single target is S. Single target is 2 here. And then the infester, single target. It's not really a single target, right? So it doesn't really have an option for that. So as a result, I think we're gonna use S. Just to get the fastest key that's also easy to remember. Cool. Again, remember, Kerrigan actually can't do these things while she's burrowed. It just seems like she can. And then area of effect, S for single target. This is a buff. We don't really have a category for buffs. I think we're just gonna go in order here and just do 2 and Q. Should be fine. Don't really have a category for, oh wait, we missed N. No, N is right there. Okay, 2 and Q, good. Oh God. Okay, avoid burrowed. Again, she can't do these ability while she's burrowed. So we banish. Why there's a command card with these things on it, I'll never know. Our ultimates look like they're on Q. Single target, area of effect. Single target, area of effect. Why these don't just get poured into this, I'll never know. Okay. All right, so we were doing 2 for this and Q for this. Heal, which is Q. That looks like a single target to me. Creep teleport. That's not something we've messed with. Extinction. Teleport. What did we use for the long distance burrow? Creep tunnel was 2. Creep teleport. We can put this on 2 as well. Nice. And that leaves N for extinction. I hope this works. If this is actually burrow and not cancel, it's possible that this is wrong. Remember, the most important thing that you can do to yourself, for yourself rather, while designing or setting up your hotkeys, assume that anything you see has about a 25% chance of just being straight up wrong. And once you accept that and you're okay with that, going through and fixing your hotkeys becomes a lot easier because you're like, oh, okay, that was just something that was wrong. That's standard. That's just usual. Okay, parasitic invasion. We're gonna try to use S for all of this. Yeah. Because that's the steely steals. Roach is, let's try to match that up with roach production, which is N. N, S, and G. If we can use those, that would be nice. I don't think we're going to be able to in a lot of these for Nyadra. G, no, we can't. S and N. Oh, no, we can't. So we can't use it for any of these, which is actually kind of nice. Grow? Ah, which is kind of like morph, which is also S. But we're just gonna use Q, I think, for this. Makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, it's Q for queen, close enough. And now we're just gonna use the best stuff. So just use in order, L, G. N is already used, and then we have 2 and Q. Oh, and it works out too. Q ends up being the spot in the last spot that gets taken over. Nice. Just kind of works out. S, S, L's and S's. Lots of S's and L's and N's. L, yeah, good. A lot of this stuff is being inherited right now from our work earlier in Coop. Very good. And then looks like we have a curveball over here. Parasite. Okay. Whoa, creep is C. No. Creep is always Q. I think we can just use N here and be okay. Pretty sure we're gonna be fine. Awesome. All blue. Accept. Accept. Now, we're gonna do the Heart of the Swarm campaign. Okay, we just loaded the hotkeys. Again, all you have to do to load the hotkeys for each campaign is to just load the master archives. The master archives don't exist for Wings of Liberty, so you actually have to just load your most recent thing. Oh man, I completed it, yay! Hello, Kerrigan. You look very evil. Very, very evil and creepy as hell. Good job. As well you should. Of course. Ooh. Notice a lot of this stuff is different, but I'm not seeing any unbounds. It doesn't mean that it's all inherited, but it's a good start. Yeah, Abathur is my favorite character. In all of StarCraft, Abathur is my favorite. For obvious reasons. I can't do it good. Excuse me, I can't do a good Abathur impression, but I'd like to. So I'll work on it. I need to really analyze how he puts those sentences together like that. What exactly is he leaving out that makes it sound like that? Because it's definitely specific. Like he leaves out articles, definite articles and indefinite articles, I think. And there are a couple of other parts of speech that he's just like, these are inefficient in speech, I don't need to say them. Okay, we need to do hallucinations too. That's gonna be a pain in the later on. I'm skipping this for now because it's really low priority. like what the hallucinations are, but you'll notice right now, I don't know, maybe you won't, that these hallucinations are different from the Legacy of the Void ones right now. I'm just gonna go through and make sure all of this stuff. Ooh. Void Siphon, Revelation, Entomb. Okay, so these are banished because they actually don't exist anymore. Those are leftovers. Vortex is just Z. I think we want to change that. Crap. I don't remember. I think N. I think Vortex is N. Because Recall is S now. Ugh, hope that works. We'll have to check single player Void after to make sure that lines up. S and N, good, taking this stuff over, very good. Scout, that's banished. I don't think we can actually build scouts. Also, that's the other thing. You get the hotkeys that the AI uses that you never actually get to press. So that's why a lot of these things end up getting banished. Blink and Void Prison. Shit, I have to check Void Prison too. I think it is S though. Okay, L and N. No, that's 2. And N, S, cool. Interesting. So, things are looking good. Sure. Warhounds. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? The Warhound was a unit that was in the beta, it got removed, but it never gets cleaned up from the hotkeys. The hotkeys need a serious rework cleanup. But of course, there are a lot more important things to be doing. Seeker Missile should be L and Q. I'm actually to swap this order. Cool, that's all the same. Good. Just different names for the same hotkeys. All right. Sick. I always get scared. When I see this and there's no red, it's like, whew, good. By the way, that's actually banished. Don't know why. But in this particular spot, that's not actually where you bind the tech reactor. It's a different place that you bind it. That is the tech reactor for the AI, not for you. Why it's in these hotkey files, I don't know. Okay. Good. This I don't think is actually anything you use either. But everything is lining up nicely, so we don't have to worry. Okay. Good. Good. So we're just gonna continue going through here, and we're gonna check to make sure all of the hotkeys we set up in the more high priority modes, like co-op, have been properly inherited here. Why are there 2 infestors with no hotkeys? The world will never know. And we have, of course, the Overseer with rapid fire. We have the Swarm Queen as well with a rapid fire transfusion. Changeling. Nothing out of the ordinary here, which is very nice. And you want to look through. because a lot of times there's not going to be anything bound here, unbound rather. And you'll say, oh, my hotkeys are all set, and you'll get into the game and the hotkeys will be wrong. And that's because the Blizzard defaults will sometimes override the hotkeys that you want to have. So watch out for that. Always make backups. Always, 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 always make backups of your hotkeys and put them in a folder that StarCraft does not have access to, and you'll save yourself a lot of headaches in the future. Q is our heal. L is the same as abduct. Just making that the same helps us out. S is our single target for heroes. Single target, single target. This is kind of confusing. Burrowed, don't worry about that. Kerrigan can't actually cast those spells while burrowed. They found out it was broken, but never cleaned up the hotkeys. Again, one of the most important things you can do while setting up your own hotkeys is assume that anything you see on the screen at any point in time can be completely misinformation, 100% wrong. Being prepared for that is just gonna help you out when you're setting up your hotkeys. All right, and global, accept. All right, cool. So now we're going to load up Wings of Liberty hotkeys. With Wings of Liberty, there is no mission archive, so you actually have to load into a map in order to load up the hotkeys. And it looks like they've improved their efficiency pretty significantly. Yeah, it's a crystal. Ah. Everything was just bound. Everything was fine. And now all of a sudden we have unbound keys. Why is that? It's because we've moved into another set. We're gonna create a backup here too. Right, things change. Okay. Again, don't just skip to the unbound stuff. A lot of this stuff that looks bound can be wrong and just set to default and was overridden by your hotkeys. And you want to establish good habits. You want the hotkeys you use in campaign to be as transferable as possible to your multiplayer experience. So that way it becomes as easily as possible. Question you might have. Let's go back to our main. The question you might have is like, why don't you just load all the hotkeys and then you can change your hotkeys? Actually not how it works. You can only have one of the 7 hotkey sections active at one point in time. So if I were to go and load in, say, Void Multiplayer, all of the key bindings for Wings of Liberty campaign would disappear. So you actually have to go through each of these things in order to get this. So if you guys are playing cooperative and you have tons of unbound keys, this is what's happening to you. And actually the way that it works is that a lot of the cooperative hotkeys come from campaign hotkeys from Heart of the Swarm or Wings of Liberty. So if you haven't set your hotkeys for those two things, then you can't change them in cooperative. And if you don't have access to those campaigns, then the only way you can do it is by typing in the text editor the exact name of the hotkey so that it reads properly as code, which is really fucking hard. So, please go ahead and write a message on the Blizzard forums. Say that we need a little bit of hotkey reform going on. Hotkeys are very inefficient and many of them cannot even be accessed. Cool. Right, Zeratul is all set. Selendis, Mohander, Terran. Cool, Hivemind emulator. So this is why we wrote stuff down before. This is why we did this, right? A lot of times you need visual representation. So we said perdition turret. I actually need another row here for, all right, so in Camp Basic, it looks like we have, all of this stuff here. Let's check to see if we have a sensor tower. We do, and it's on W. And then we have perdition turret and Hivemind emulator. So we want perdition turret to be a 5, Hivemind emulator to be on C. Now, what we just did, because we loaded into this hotkey layout, it's actually going to take priority over every your current hotkey layout takes priority over the other 6 that exist. So because my HiveMind emulator used to be on C, and then Perdition Turret took over that, when I go back into seeing my HiveMind emulator for a cooperative, it's going to be unbound for the moment, as long as it doesn't inherit from the HiveMind emulator that's in Wings of Liberty, which it might, which would save us a lot of time, but it's very likely that it does not. Well, which is why we go through and check all of these things. We just want things to be the same. Just want them to be the same as before. So that way, just Q, not Q and N, just Q. And an S, S, N. All right, missile pods and defensive matrix. We're gonna have to use just the best keys possible here. This is an AoE, so we're gonna use L, and then we're just gonna use 2 for this. That's the next available fastest key that we could possibly use in this kind of scenario, right? So you can't, I like to use little rules to help me remember hotkeys, especially in non-frequent scenarios like campaign. So I like to use defensive matrix shields and bubbles and things. They're all on N, but unfortunately I'm already using N for Yamato Cannon. So we just have to use the fastest keys. Sometimes it doesn't work out quite as nicely as we'd like it to. That's all the same as before, nothing new. All normal stuff here that's being inherited from higher priority sets of hotkeys. Oh God, okay, so this is, this is really annoying. So in the campaign, you upgrade to an orbital instead of, I'm sorry, you upgrade to an orbital out of game instead of inside game. So it ends up, you have a scanner sweep and then you have Planetary Fortress on the same hotkey setup, which is why we have over here, we have orbital command and we have command CC. So scan is actually supposed to be on Q here. Good, very good. Yeah, see, scans on Q over here. But why didn't it change the scan on Q over here? Why are there 2 different scans that aren't just linked up? The world will never know. All right, factory. Okay, build tech reactor. Pretty sure this is a banishment. Yes, it is. It's a banishment that was stolen by the Predator, which is actually a unit. Okay, so now we have to do Wings of Liberty campaign factory. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. We got a lot of keys here. And we want to just make them as consistent as we can with our other layouts that we've written down in the spreadsheet. So we've got Hellions and tanks and Thors. We also have the Goliath. Tanks. We have the Diamondback too. We don't have the Hellbat here though. We don't have the Hellbat here. So we can actually just use the Hellbat button over here for Predator, and then build Vulture on 6, which is over here in both cages. Vulture is over here. Awesome. And then we have the Select Builder is still there. In all these situations, Lift is always there. Select Builder and actually Halt is always there too. Cool. And very good, very good. Vulture. And then we put something here just now. What was it? The Predator. And that's actually gonna mess with some bindings in other places as well. Keep in mind that that will happen to you on the regular. Cool. moving forward. Tech reactor. This is a banishment. And the Herc is actually a thing. Wings of Liberty Campaign, Herc. Non-banishment section. Okay, so we've got Hercules over here. It's a it's actually a buildable thing in this campaign. So now we have to have the Wings of Liberty starport as well. So we already have a camp starport for the other two campaigns, but Wings of Liberty campaign starport is even another special starport. Another special starport. Excellent, cool. So we got all the usual stuff going on. Let's take a look. We've got like every single unit that exists. Okay, we have all the regular stuff plus the Wraith and the Hercules. Not the Herc, but the Hercules. Wraith. And it looks like we're just gonna have the Hercules over here. Over here on this column right here, Hercules. So just bind Hercules to 6 and we shouldn't have anything. Nice, nothing came unbound. Always scary when you press any button because everything is connected. And you can only use one key at a time. Cool. And remember, learning these things, learning the ways hotkeys work, is useful whether you use the core or whether you use your own special custom hotkey layout that you came out with, or whatever it is that you want to do. Maybe you want to move a hotkey around. Just understanding hotkeys. It's a really confusing, convoluted system, and that's what this is for. This is for just try to explain all the different ins and outs of setting hotkeys and why it is that it takes so long to make a fully custom hotkey layout. And just sort of let you guys know, and you gals as well, know what's going on. Exactly. See, it's good how this works. Cool. Splash, consumption. The Odin. Cool. Nuke is always on cue. That's really easy. Fits in nicely. It's nice when that happens. This stuff is the same as before, as is this, which all fits quite nicely. Good. Very good. Cool. And then we move over to Zuzog. Oh crap, what is attack structure? Is it S? I think it's S. It is S. Totally is. Larva. Ultralisk? Oh, okay. Oh no. Okay. I remember this now. I actually made like a diagram to make this work. Let's just do... This is like really tricky. All right. So we've got all of this stuff here. We have corruptors and festers. We have mutas. We don't have swarm hosts. All right, okay, so this is Wings of Liberty. Pretty easy to do. Ultralisks and mutalisks. But we have a corruptor as well. And Scourge is the first time this shown up. So actually we're just gonna put Scourge right here. And hopefully that works out. Accept. And we're just gonna make a backup of our hotkeys real quick. So that now we've gone through cooperative, Wings of all the campaigns. We've gone through cooperative. We've gone through the first one that we did was the most important, which is Legacy of the Void multiplayer. Now we have to go through the multiplayer of, let's see, of Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. And they're gonna have another set of hotkeys. So more stuff is gonna become unbound here. Actually, we'll just, before HOTS multi. I'll just move back to this. Cool. Excellent. Excellent. So, we leave, quit the campaign. We got new mercenaries, sick. So the same way to check your hotkeys for multiplayer is gonna be exactly the same. Just, actually, it's in your options. You go to your options and gameplay and you change to Heart of the Swarm multiplayer. But you'll notice, if you go into hotkeys, it's still the hotkeys we just did. We actually have to load into a game. No. We actually have to load into a game, otherwise those hotkeys won't actually exist in our hotkey file. Once the game gets loaded up, there it will be. The hotkeys will exist in beautiful fashion. What is this? What game did I just load into? Is this Nexus Wars? What the hell? Yeah, I think this is some weird version of Nexus Wars. Whoops. Now that this happened, I think I actually hit arcade. No, it was in custom games. Whatever. Blizzard maps. Yeah, there we go. Every single custom game, it's not like a Blizzard regular melee map, and every single, there we go. And every single arcade game has its own set of hotkeys, in addition to the 7 hotkey set in normal games, in the normal set of games. So 3 campaign, 3 multiplayer, and coup. All right. Okay, so actually, we're gonna use one of these backups to create Jak Plus. And that's gonna be our new base file. And the reason for that is we entered in an arcade game. When you have your normal set of hotkeys and you load into an arcade game, a lot of times that's going to unbind a bunch of your keys. Because remember, whatever's active takes priority. So if you use your normal multiplayer hotkeys and you join into an arcade game, it'll probably unbind some of your hotkeys. So the next time you try to play multiplayer, it won't work. So just make sure you go ahead and get make a backup or use a different set of hotkeys to do that. So we're just gonna grab Jak Plus. Excellent. Because this is our new base. Cool. And again, just because it's not unbound doesn't mean it's what you want it to be. So make sure you go through and check all this stuff. I've checked it many times before, so I'm pretty fast at recognizing when something's out of place. You might need to go a little bit slower, and that's okay. Really nothing to worry about. This is just to help you out to use hotkeys in the way that you want to. This is to help you to find your own path in the hotkey world. Just try to understand exactly how all the pieces come together. So make sure all these alternates are here. And you can be all warm and cozy, you know? You can just be happy. And that's what StarCraft is about. Not necessarily always being happy, but having fun. Being challenged, getting that adrenaline rush from just barely winning a game. Maybe you're not happy during that moment in time, but it is super fun. Okay. What did I see there? Disable structure attack. Is S. Wait, what is enable structure attack? 2. I did that backwards. All right, so I got to recheck the banelings. Because I think this was backwards in a couple of the other options. That's what's gonna happen when you go through this a lot of times. You're gonna start. Consume is 5. Good. Excellent. That is all inheriting from other options. Here we go. Very good. And just gonna go through all these and make sure that everything is A-OK, which is what you should do too. So make sure you go through and make sure everything's just the way you want it, because a lot of times it's not going to be. Good. Okay. Excellent. Actually, we're just gonna options. As is usual, we're gonna make it back up. Okay, so this is the 7th. Okay, we're about to enter in the 7th circle of hotkey hell. Wow, that's really apparent. That's really like, it works out so well. Always hit accept, never hit cancel, always hit accept. Very important. Otherwise it won't change. Make sure you make lots of backups as well. Cool, so now we just need to load into a game of Wings of Liberty multiplayer, and we'll have finished our hotkey layout. And we're approaching the 3-hour mark. We're not done yet. Oh no. After we go through and fix everything, almost without exception, let's get past that circle of death. Almost without exception, there is going to be something that goes wrong, and you'll have to address it. You have to do some on-the-fly problem solving. Come on. There we go. Okay, so this is the 7th circle of hotkey hell. It might be your first circle. God, that was loud. All right. Ooh, look at this. We may actually be done. Let's take a look. All of this seems to work quite nicely. We didn't make anything unbind when we were doing our earlier stuff. It all fit together like pieces of a puzzle. If you like puzzles, setting up hotkeys is a giant logic puzzle that is quite enjoyable if you enjoy puzzles like me. But if you don't, it's totally okay. Oh, this is all the same. No mistakes so far. Sick. All right. Global. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So let's go ahead and leave this. And we're gonna go back to our top priority hotkeys, which is multiplayer Legacy of the Void, which is the most important thing for me. And hopefully, nothing changed and nothing was unbound, but that is pretty rare. Happy little puzzles everywhere, just like Bob Ross. It's got our happy little hotkey puzzles, happy little zerglings. Got all almighty ultralisks, everything is in place. Okay. Great. Excellent. Okay, so let's see. Any of this stuff got unbound or changed in any way that we don't like, that we want to be different? Nice. All this is looking correct. Wait, did I just... Nope. And when I'm making these kind of layouts for the core, the final step is actually to run through the campaign, all the campaigns, and everything else to make sure it works. I'm not going to do that here, because it takes a long time. But usually I'll just get to each level, make sure everything's working. Okay, cool. Now a couple things I wrote down that we need to check, that we can get from here is we're gonna check out the Baneling really quick. 2 is enable structure attack, S is disable. 2 is enable, S is disable. Cool. That is correct. Good. The other thing was hallucinations. So let's check our hallucinations here. And I'm actually gonna bring the spreadsheet over to the side so I don't have to keep going back and forth, but the spreadsheet is linked if you wanna follow along at home. Feel free to do that. And so we're gonna go through the hallucinations now, and we wanna match them to all the different hallucinations of the various campaigns and things like that. So Phoenix, Oracle, they line up very nicely, and then follows by Immortal on S. Very good. And then we have Colossus on N. Good. Disruptor ends up being on 2, working out quite nicely there. Warp Prism over here. Ooh, actually, the High Templar got moved. The High Templar got moved. So I'm gonna shuffle that around. And as a result, we're also gonna shuffle the... just wanna have things line up whenever they can. A lot of times they can't, but that's okay. So the High Templar hallucinate's going to be Q, and the Warp Prism hallucinate is going to be A. Cool. Archon is 5. Now this is important because we actually want an alternate hallucinate for the most damage Soki. So we're actually gonna have hallucinate is N, that's great, but it's also gonna be 5. And the reason why we do that is because that means that you can just select your sentries, hold down the button 5, and you'll have a giant wall of Archons to soak damage for you. That's really the only time that hallucinate could possibly be used in a rapid fire type way. So just make it available to anyone using the core. And if you're making your own hotkey layout, then you can go ahead and put that in there if you like. All you have to do is make sure that one of the keys for hallucination is the same as one of the keys for hallucinate Archon. And maybe you want to do it for Immortal too. Immortal's also good at, you know, sort of making a lot of damage soaking happen. They don't actually get their shield ability though, so a little bit diminished in Void multiplayer. Keeping that in mind, we can continue on. Void Ray is T, which is W, correct. Stalker is C, Adept is 6. Tab for the Zealot, and A for the Probe. Cool, so that's actually all set, so that's correct. When we go into the other sections, the other circles of hotkeys, then we're gonna double check to make sure that they're the same. Just because we want it to be consistent. We want it to be consistent because it makes it a lot easier for us to transition from playing some campaigns to playing the multiplayer and back and forth. And it works as well when you're designing the hotkeys for your off race. You wanna make them as similar to your main race as possible. So it's easy to pick up. Okay, cool. Hallucinations. Good. That is all set. And we're gonna take a look at autocast for a second. Vortex N, recall S first though, which we'll need to get into the campaign for. These are the campaign keys over here. Okay, now, like before, we were talking about considering our autocast keys. Actually, I'm just gonna duplicate that. Put it over here, rename to, damn it, copy the wrong thing. All right, delete that. What we wanted was our overview. Duplicate that, there we go. Now I'm gonna have my special Jack overview. If you want to copy one of these spreadsheets and fill out your own information, if you want to use this way of basically organizing information for your own special hotkey layout, you can just hit copy to. You don't have to have access to the document. You can just hit copy to, and you can use this formatting. It's already in place. You can just fill in the blanks with your own hotkey layout and design your own hotkey layout in the way that you want to do it. I'm just gonna rename this to Jack Overview. Cool. So my autocasts are actually Q, two, and I think 5 is available, yeah. 5 is an ability, it can be autocast, yeah. 5, cool. So you wanna consider which is the most comfortable combination pressing this with Alt. Normally we just use the key score because we already scored what's fastest and what's slowest and by how much. We already analyze that. But this is a key combination. Whenever you're designing your own hotkeys, whenever you're figuring out, okay, what's the most efficient way to do these hotkeys, it's important to consider, don't just say, this is a fast key, I'll use it for fast stuff. You wanna consider, how am I gonna use this in a real game scenario? What is the action sequence? What are the multiple actions in a row that I'm going to have to press? What are the keys in a row, clicks in a row I'm gonna have to press to get a thing I want to happen in the game to happen? And then you wanna optimize that in such a way that you're using the maximal number of fingers and the least number of finger repetition as possible. You also want things to be as comfortable as possible. So you can go ahead and just use your keys and press them. Just get into a document, just press the keys around, you know, and maybe that doesn't work for you because you have, you know, weird stuff going on. Just press them, feel them out, and that way you'll know, okay, this is the fastest for me. So for instance, I have to decide between Q, 2, and 5. So if I consider this, which is my Alt 5 combination, I'm feeling it out. And then 2, which is definitely not as good. And then we also have Q. Yeah, 5 is definitely the best, actually. A little bit counterintuitive, but for autocast, 5 is definitely the best, followed by Q and then 2. So we're gonna go through all of our autocast stuff with this in mind. 5 first, then Q, then 2. So let's go ahead and get back into the hotkeys. So that means autocast for build interceptor, we're gonna use 5 instead. Charge, we're gonna use 5 instead. We're gonna go through all of this. Just find all the autocast stuff. Nice and quick like, no problems. And there's not gonna be autocast here, so we don't even have to look. 5, 5. Yeah, that's gonna be really nice. That's definitely a major improvement. In my layout, I spent a lot of time on my layout trying to make it as awesome as it can be, and I'm still missing stuff here and there. There's almost always some little way, some little thing that you haven't thought about that you can improve. And that's the same thing as StarCraft. There's always things that you can improve in your game, in your play. There's always a small decision that you could have made a little bit faster or a little bit better. And that's probably one of the most beautiful things about StarCraft, is that it doesn't end, really. There's no point where it's like, oh yeah, I'm done StarCraft. I'm the best at everything. Okay. You can technically auto-explode, but I'm not gonna count that. Ooh. Oh no, you can auto-unburrow. Yeah, not worth. Definitely not worth. It's one of those situations where we're actually gonna sacrifice some functionality here. 5, that's an autocast. There's more autocast stuff in the campaign, so I'm gonna keep that in mind as we're going through. Right, good. Cool. Excellent. Okay, we can go to score screen now. And we're gonna jump into cooperative. Now this is another place where probably the source of very likely the most conflicts that you're going to have in general. We're going to make someone's happiness decrease slightly. Unfortunately, it is the case. It is for the good of all hotkeys. Freaky Zergs. I'm very sorry, but I will be leaving you. It's one of the most annoying things ever. In order for me to work on co-op hotkeys, I have to enter a game of co-op with someone and then leave. Another reason why it would be really nice if all 7 versions of Blizzard hotkeys were on one UI and not 7 separate UI that you had to load by loading a new game of that type. That would be great. And very much possible. Very much possible. So, we hope that Blizzard will get to that. And we know that they will. They will when they can. And that's the thing. We just let Blizzard know, hey, this is a frustration that we have. When you have a chance in your priority list, you can get to it. That would be awesome. And they will, because they're great. Ooh, that took over. Nice. That was inherited. Ooh, very nice. Ooh, that inherited as well. Excellent. This stuff will not have inherited. Okay, so now we have, this is where the autocast comes in, right? Remember our priority is 5Q2. Okay, 5Q. 5Q. Q is heal. This is an autocast, so it's actually gonna be on 5 and not Q. Something else here. Void Prison, Vortex. I consider these things. Yeah, Vortex is on N. Okay, good. That's done. Good. So that's an autocast. These are not. that lines up properly. Oh, actually, we have to go to the shrine and change this to a 5. Good. Good. 5. Oh, I should not skip anything. We were here. Let's not get excited. Ooh. The Immortal's Barrier is actually an autocast. So we want that on 5. We want to select it. This is one of those unique situations. We want to autocast and un-autocast it with 5, but we want to target it and use it specifically with L, because L is nice and fast. Excellent. Okay. So, we're continuing on through our glorious path, the magical world of hotkeys. I'm just going to keep going on through here. Target lock. Ooh, actually, the cyclone. Increases the damage dealt to target enemy by. Is this autocast? So here we are. We have to know if target lock on the Havoc is autocast or not. If anyone in the chat knows, that'd be great. Havoc autocast. Cool. Okay. So we're gonna keep going through here and move along. Rapid fire for N, that's great. Cool. And disintegrate. Knowing, I would have to really go through all the campaign stuff and know exactly what I would have to know exactly what was autocast and what wasn't, because I haven't actually gone through all of these things. Unfortunately, by the way, you have to toggle autocast with whatever the key is plus alt. There's no way to bind it. There's also no way to bind how control click and shift click function. Unfortunately. Those are really, if I could do that, that would be phenomenal. That'd be really great. Change 5. Okay. Awesome. Okay. And D. Arbiter is D and Warp Stargate. Let's try to line up our arbiters here. I didn't do this last time. Star. Oh wait, no, this is cooperative, right? Yes, it is. We are in cooperative right now. Okay. So our cooperative Stargate is... Oh, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, this is tricky. So we have a cooperative Stargate, and then we have a cooperative Warp Stargate. And you'd think they'd be the same, but they're not. So, you have to get that in mind. Go ahead, reset that. So we're gonna have Coop, Warp Star, which is another set. So Arbiter is L over here. But in the Warp Stargate, Arbiter is not L. But we can make it L. Cool. So we have Phoenix, Void Ray, Warp Stargate. Actually, this one says regular Stargate. And Mothership. Goes on to... Okay, awesome. And we have the Warp in Arbiter on L, Mothership on 2. Very good. Let's go and check out the regular Stargate and see what that has. It has Carrier on D and Arbiter on L, and everything else is the same. Arbiter on L. It just has Carrier. Just a Carrier or a Mothership. That's fine. That lines up super, super well. Ergodox keyboards, by the way. If you haven't had a chance to check them out, they're kind of amazing. Definitely take a look at them when you can. And I know a lot of you out there start using different layouts to utilize the whole hand instead of just 2 or 3 fingers, and you'll think to yourself, oh, my thumb is not used to doing this. Oh man, my pinky, it's not used to doing this. And you might think, oh, I have a weak pinky or a weak thumb. And the funny thing about that is that the thumb and the pinky are actually connected to the strongest muscles in your hand and forearm. That's because they're on the outside of your hand. So that muscle, if you look at your hand, the muscle on the left side of your hand, if you're holding your right hand up, that's connected to your pinky, is directly connected. And much less so, the middle fingers are connected to it as well in a much less powerful way. And then the thumb has a much larger, strongest muscle. So the strength in your fingers actually goes in order. The thumb is the most powerful finger, followed by the pinky, followed by the index finger, and then the middle finger. And finally, the ring finger is the least independent, least dexterous finger in your hand. And that's why people do that trick where you put your middle finger down on the desk, the flat part of it, and you put the tips of your finger on the table, and you put your palm on the table, and you can lift up all your fingers, no problem. But for some reason, you can't lift up your ring finger, and that's because it's directly connected to your middle finger, which you've curled in and placed on the table. But yeah, so in any case, that's just a little bit about the basic anatomy of the hand. The main reason why people have problems, either in guitar or piano, any kind of a music thing, or in hotkeys in games, any kind of video games, or just in typing, is because we don't use our pinkies for very many things, so you don't get a chance to train that up very well. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on our quest for fantastic hotkeys. Okay, we have to check Void Prison, which I think we need to go to the Legacy of the Void campaign now. And remember, whenever you're talking about hotkeys or thinking about hotkeys, it's all about potential. It's all about looking for what's the potential, what's the future, and not being stuck in the current situation of this is what I'm used to, so I keep doing it. And that'll allow you to grow. And it's also a very useful thing for your StarCraft play in general as well. Because if you always stick to one build that you're used to, one style that you're used to, then you're going to become very predictable. It also gets kind of boring, only playing one build or one way. So it's good to explore. Okay. So where is Zeratul? Okay, Void Prison was already set to S. This is great. All right, so that question is answered for us as well. We have to go through our autocast and hallucinations and banelings, however. So let's go through that. Nice. So this is all being taken in from cooperative. Very, whoop. There, caught one. Gotcha. Tried to sneak away. But we were paying too close attention. What? Gotcha. Alarak. Okay. I don't know if this is an autocast or not. Right, we wrote that down. We have to test that. It's all about putting in time to gain an advantage. And it's about balancing that. So how much time is it worth putting into learning a new hotkey layout for the advantage that you gain? Unfortunately, that's not a measurable calculation. So a lot of us have to, as a result, make that calculation with our gut. You have to say, I think the amount of time it would take me to learn a new hotkey layout would be worth the efficiency gain, or would not be worth. That's a call, that's a decision that each person has to make for themselves. I'm not gonna tell you, you should go learn the core, or you should change all of your hotkeys, because it's really difficult to tell whether it's gonna be worth it or not worth it. I personally made the decision that I think it would be worth it. That's what I did. And each of you can make all of your own decisions. And that's kind of part of the whole fun. You get to do the hotkeys the way you want them to do. Cool. Good. Let's check the hallucinations. Okay, I'm gonna bring the spreadsheet over to the side so I can do this a little bit faster. Phoenixes and Immortals, Colossus, Disruptor, and then High Templar on Q. Looks like that inherited quite well. Excellent. Cool. Oh, I didn't check the Baneling. Let's make sure we check the Baneling. 2 for enable structure attack. Yep, that's correct. Excellent. Okay, we did hallucinations, Banelings, and we checked our autocasts. Excellent. Cool. Now we're gonna go into Swarm. Just loading the master archives will get us to have the Swarm hotkeys active. Oops, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Right. Okay, here we're starting to get some different stuff going on here. We got Phoenix, Warp Prism, Immortal ends up on S, Colossus F, nothing on 2, good. High Templar ends up on Q, Archon on 5. We also have the, yes, very good. And Void Ray ends up on W, C for Stalker, and 6 for Adept. Nothing is on that. The Zealous tab and Probe is A. Good. Oops. Just check this. Good. Banelings, hallucinations. Any autocast stuff going on here? Cool. Excellent. All of these hotkeys are being inherited. Excellent. Cool. All right. We're just going to make another backup. Okay, make sure we go back to our layout, which I've called Jak Plus. You can do this on your own. Right on the side of me. You'll be setting up your own hotkeys too. You can put them just like that. Cool, accept. Good. Remember that all of the hotkeys are there for a reason. And everything has a place. Everything has a purpose. Each hotkey is put exactly where it needs to be. And that just helps you have not necessarily a faster StarCraft experience, but a more comfortable StarCraft experience. Okay, let's load Wings of Liberty, which has no master archive, so we're actually gonna have to get into a game real quick. Okay. Awesome. Just go right into our hotkeys from here. Cool. And last but not least, we're gonna do Wings of Liberty Multiplayer. And then, as long as our top priority is not wrong, we'll be done. I'm just gonna change our stuff over here. Because this is the least, this is the oldest one. We're likely to find some problems in here with our hallucinations. And so we will check out that. Okay. And now we're done. Like I said before, a lot of these things are small, but you can go ahead and make those small adjustments yourself as you see fit, as you want to do. I would normally, at this point in time, go through every single campaign and play through all the co-op missions to make sure all of these things are correct. As hotkeys, there are a lot of new hotkeys going on for Legacy of the Void that I'm not 100% sure on, like what's autocast and what's not autocast. And I think I had a couple of questions like Alarak's ability, if it was an autocast or not. And that's gonna make changes to the way that you do things, but hopefully this video has basically took you deep into the process of all of the different interactions of hotkeys and how they work. So when you go in to make adjustments to your hotkey layout, or when you want to, build your own, hotkey layout from scratch, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to know all the different pieces and how they fit together. As always, my name is JaKaTaK. Thank you for watching. If you have an idea for a video you'd like me to do, please leave it with any questions, comments, criticisms, concerns, or anything beginning with letter C in the comment section below. I'll see you again soon.